Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. This is base of the skull. Saida. This base of the skull. It is divided into three parts: interior part, middle part, and posterior part. Interior part extends from incisor tooth to the free posterior margin of hard palate. Middle part extends from the posterior free border of the hard palate to the interior margin of foramen magnum, and posterior part extends from the interior margin of foramen magnum to external occipital crust and superior nuchal line. Now, interior part of occipital bone, interior part of base of occiput. Saida. Now, interior part of base of occiput, it is formed by mainly two bones: maxillary bone and palatine bone. Now, this whole is called alveolar arch. This is downward projected part from maxilla called alveolar processes. So you show this the alveolar process show the alveolar process show. Or that you come the alveolar arch show. So alveolar arch it that you come the boundary jodi the hard palate interior boundary or two lateral boundaries. Say that. Or midline ki you come there these two are palatine processes of maxillae. They fuse in the midline forming intermaxillary suture. More posteriorly, these two are horizontal plates of palatine bone. They fuse in the midline at the interpalatine suture. Now, interiorly, each horizontal plate of palatine bone makes suture with the palatine processes of the maxillary bone at palato-maxillary suture. So, you show that. Starting from the midline, this is called incisive fossa. Incisive fossa has got incisive foramina in its wall, which is continuous with incisive canals. So you show from this passes the palatine vessel zina pass ki spinopalatine vessel. Sahi da. Aur then lava chikam de nasopalatine nerve dena pass ki. More posteriorly chikam de khora shu kana. This one is posterior nasal spine. So you show posterior nasal spine da show. These processes they are pyramidal processes of palatine bone. Now, between the pyramidal process of palatine bone and this posterolateral part of hard palate, this has this large foramen called greater palatine foramen. Greater palatine foramen, you can say greater palatine arteries of vein paski. So this is greater palatine foramen. These two. Now, in the pyramidal processes of the lesser palatine, of the horizontal plates of palatine bone, this is called lesser palatine foramen. The lesser palatine foramen there.
It may be 2 or 3.
So you show दो भाई मतलब कल कल दो ही मतलब ये भी सही था show. This one is posterior free border of the hard palate. No, that you compare to that this was interior part of base of occiput. Same. So you show now posterior to this part of base of occiput, this is middle part. Starting from posterior free border of the hard palate to the interior border of foramen magnum. Now middle part it is complex. It is divided into two parts: interior half, which is formed by vomer bone and sphenoid, and posterior half, which is formed by basi-occiput and temporal bone. Now, interior half of the middle part of the base of occiput, base of skull is formed by vomer bone in the midline, which is placed over the body of sphenoid bone. This midline structure, this is vomer bone. Now, it forms the bony septum, nasal septum, which divides the nasal cavity into two parts. So, you show. Or we can say it divides the posterior nasal aperture into two parts, or chawni or cownies, left cowni and right cowni. Kauna, see the posterior nasal aperture. It connects nasal cavity with the pharynx. The pharynx is this structure. This is the pharynx, nasopharynx. See that? This was vomer. Now more interiorly, this is vomer. These are. Vomer chikam de interiorly chikala large is a septum jodi say a toll dasho nor chikam de this is body of sphenoid. This is body of sphenoid. These are pterygoid processes of the sphenoid. These two are greater wings of the sphenoid, and lesser wings of the sphenoid are not shown, cannot be seen from the in the basal view. See that dikhiran khari aga chikam de internal view ki khari aga chikam de these are lesser wings of the sphenoid. Now body of the sphenoid. Body of the sphenoid, it is cube shaped. Saida, it posteriorly forms suture with the basi-occiput. Or interiorly, it is deficient interiorly at the sphenoid sinus. صحیح ده sphenoid sinus that interiorly continues. Now a septum arises from the body of the sphenoid. A septum arises from the body of the sphenoid, dividing the sphenoid sinus into two parts, left and right part. صحیح ده دا شو ها نور چې کوم دی کنه lateral boundaries of the sphenoid bone. Lateral boundaries of the body of sphenoid, it is limited here by medial pterygoid plate or medial pterygoid process. صحیح شو دا شو نور چې کوم دی کنه pterygoid the sphenoid bone چې کوم body ده صحیح ده سټاپ کوي کس ته پیسې
سټاپ کوي